Hey everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. We're hearing from one of the many volunteers helping the asylum seekers in Portland. However, she came out to find this on the back of her car the other day, glue over a message that she had posted. A message she says she's not taking down.
Plus, the Federal Reserve has just cut the Fed funds rate by 1/4 of a point. Will that affect you? It might. And coming up, we'll tell you how you might be able to take advantage of it. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. We're glad you're with us. In the news tonight, a Maine community is stepping up to help a teacher who sets aside her free time to help others. Sarah Norsworthy is a 4th grade teacher who has been volunteering at the Portland Expo all summer long, assisting the youngest of the asylum seekers there.
Her car was vandalized this week. Instead of reacting in a way many of us probably would, she decided to use this as a teachable moment.
The message is simple, right? Asylum seeking is legal.
It's a message Sarah Norsworthy hoped would stick for others.
This is incredibly sad.
Instead, sticky super glue now covers the back windshield of her car, and a message she wrote when she was feeling frustrated.
I'm frustrated by the lack of empathy and understanding.
The 4th grade teacher has spent much of her summer volunteering at the Portland Expo, helping children and their parents seeking asylum get acclimated to a new way of life.
This is what happens when you stand up and speak your truth, and you have to be prepared for how people respond.
Now her outreach efforts extend beyond the walls of the emergency shelter.
The message here is not that people are terrible. It's that we have more work to do from an education standpoint.
Norsworthy says her focus is starting a conversation with anyone willing.
This is in no way this is what I think. This is an invitation to a conversation.
She believes understanding can be reached by way of education.
Giving doesn't mean that you're losing.
Despite the mess of glue in her rear view, she's looking forward.
So people respond like this. And then people respond, like this morning, with offers of, can I come and detail your car for you?
Focused on the positive responses that come with the bad. And Sarah has received offers to help remove the glue free of charge. She will continue to keep the message on her car and has thought about making t-shirts as well.
Other news we're following tonight, a homeless man was attacked by a group of young adults last night in what police are calling a random and senseless act of violence. We are warning you right now, too, this is disturbing video, what we're about to show you. Several people have already been charged in this case, which we are learning is not an isolated incident. Bangor Police Sergeant Wade Betters says during the department's investigation into this assault along the waterfront, officers became aware of Facebook videos depicting assaults believed to be carried out by several suspects. The department's investigation is still open, with officers working to identify each and all of these people in the videos, both the victims and the attackers. We have more details coming in the next 90 minutes here on News Center Maine.
It's really hard to watch that.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It is. All right, we'll switch gears for a little bit.
Let's do it.
Check out the weather with Keith. It's going to be a beautiful stretch of days here, right?
It is. Today was 2 camps on today. Some people thought it was still hot. Other people found it refreshing.
There's a 3rd camp. I thought it was nice.
It was nice, yeah. You guys are pretty easy to please in the weather department.
Let's get a pulse poll going.
Yeah, I know. Finally, one that we can all maybe agree on it. 85 in Portland, 85 in Wiscasset. So the air temperature was still pretty high today, as opposed to 90 yesterday. Dew points were slow to come down, so we started off in a lot of places still kind of humid. We've decreased that a bit in the last couple of hours. 83 in Portland right now, 83 in Parsonsfield, 80 in Freiburg to the north. Similar profile of temperatures, where the cooler, more refreshing air is in the mountains. Here are your dew points, just hugging the coast a little bit still, but you can see the general progression here is from northwest to southeast is for the dry air to move in. So you'll feel it tonight everywhere, and by tomorrow it will be dry, but dry and warm still. Visible satellite showing, you can also see the dry air by the cloud cover. So when it comes in, you see the clouds kind of dissipate. The atmosphere is no longer primed to produce those clouds once it dries out. So hour by hour forecast, clear tonight. Temperatures dropping into the 50s, perhaps a few 40s in the mountains tonight. but we rebound quickly through the day on Friday. We push into the 80s. Guys, the theme has been that models have been a little cool a day or two before, so it looks like we could be in the upper 80s away from the coast tomorrow afternoon.
All right, but 40s overnight in the mountains. Wow.
Wow.
All right, Keith, thanks. Talk to you again in a bit. Let's check some headlines now this Thursday evening. Everybody is accounted for after a massive gas pipeline explosion happened in central Kentucky. One person was killed, several others were injured. Those injured are expected to recover. These photos from the Kentucky State Police show the extent of the damage after the blast overnight. At least 5 homes in the neighborhood there were destroyed, and there's no word yet on what caused that blast. That facility is owned by Enbridge Gas.
It looks like there won't be a government shutdown in October. A bipartisan budget deal has passed the Senate and is heading to the White House for the president's signature. It's a rare instance of political adversaries agreeing on something, at least rare in the current political climate. The plan will permit the government to resume borrowing to pay its bills and would set aside an overall $1.37 trillion limit on agency spending. That has to be approved by Congress every year. The Federal Reserve has just cut the Fed funds rate by 1/4 point. That's the rate that banks and other financial institutions charge each other for short-term borrowing.
Yeah, so the question is, does this rate cut affect you too? Probably. Eventually, it will. Let's connect the dots.
The Fed has cut interest rates for the first time since the financial crisis in 2008, and that could be helpful for a lot of people. Let's connect the dots. The Fed made this move to bring some stability in the midst of the trade war and economic slowdowns in other parts of the world, but what does this mean for you? Well, if you have a credit card with a variable rate, which most people do, your interest rate will most likely go lower, saving you some cash. If you have a mortgage, it might be time to refinance. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage right now is the lowest it's been since 2016. So if you bought a home in the last couple of years, it might be worth it. Shaving 0.5 percentage point off your mortgage will save the average person about $125. The biggest losers here are the savers. Only recently have rates started to recover after being near rock bottom for years. So this is a hit for anybody trying to grow their nest egg in a traditional savings account. And that is connecting the dots.
And we actually just refinanced before
So
the
no
cut.
insider trading
But
going on here.
but we still, I think we still got a good rate, but probably
Yeah.
not the best rate now. But what are you
Sure.
going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, man, hindsight. Okay, attention dog owners. If you have any pig-eared dog treats in your home, you'll want to throw those out. The Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration are issuing this warning. Both agencies investigating a salmonella outbreak tied to those treats. This is dangerous for dogs, but for us too. So far, the outbreak has sickened 127 people in 33 states, and 26 of those people had to be hospitalized. Experts say the people got sick after handling either the contaminated products or sick animals. And since no single supplier, brand, or distributor has been identified, health officials just say people should stop feeding their dogs those treats, those pig ears, and throw them out. The agencies are also advising retailers to stop selling pig ear treats.
So you want to avoid having your car stolen, of course. Well, then don't buy one of these. The Dodge Charger Hemi or the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat, because those are the most stolen vehicles. They have a theft claim rate more than 5 times the average for models between 2016 and 2018, so the newer models. This comes from the latest report by the Highway Loss Data Institute. The report goes on to say that GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab is the most stolen pickup truck, coming in 5th overall on the list. Interestingly, the car that is least likely to be stolen is the BMW 3 Series 4-door. And electric vehicles also tend to have low theft rates. The Tesla S and X are both among the least stolen vehicles.
I thought you were going to say something along the lines of, you don't want to have your car stolen? Keep your doors locked.
The thing about the Teslas, too, I think is interesting. I have a feeling, I don't know this, but this is just, we were talking about this behind the scenes. If you've ever been in a Tesla, there's nothing, there's just a big screen there. So probably people go in to try and steal it and they go, oh, okay, I don't know how to make this go, so whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
It is different.
Yeah.
A little intimidating. That
Yeah.
intimidation factor keeps you safe. All right, coming up, the Federal Trade Commission has a warning for people filing a claim in that Equifax data breach. There's a chance you might not get the refund that you were promised.
Okay. And big companies are teaching interns how to hack. We'll learn why they're doing this a little bit later on Now. The Federal Trade Commission has told consumers affected by the Equifax breach that they are unlikely to get that full $125 that they thought they were going to get.
Equifax last week reached a $700 million settlement over that 2017 data breach that exposed the personal information of 147 million people. But the FTC said that public response to the settlement has been overwhelming, and millions of people visited the claim site in the first week alone. Because those payments come from a fixed pot of $31 million, if more people apply than there are full funds for, then the amount each person gets will drop as the pool of money is distributed proportionally. Jewelry, clothing, contractual documents, and a signed guitar are among the more than 400 items available at an auction of Elvis Presley-related memorabilia at Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee.
Elvis Enterprises says online bidding is now open for the auction at Graceland, part of the Elvis Week celebration in August. The celebration of the late singer and actor's life and career draws fans each year to Memphis and Graceland. His former home turned museum, of course, that's what Graceland is now. Elvis Week coincides with the anniversary of his passing, August 16th, 1977. Listen to this. Poland has done away with income taxes for workers under age 26.
A new law scrapping that tax took effect today. The move is aimed at stopping the flow of employees out of Poland. The law is expected to drive up the earnings of almost 2 million Poles and lure back some who have left. The Polish Finance Ministry says that reducing income taxes to zero for young workers would be financed by other elements of fiscal policy.
Clearly we're talking about the country, not the town.
Not Poland, Maine, exactly. Well, if shopping on Amazon wasn't easy enough, they are rolling out a new monthly subscription for fashionable shoppers.
And we're going to check in with Keith again and look ahead to the weekend forecast. All right, we're back with this. When was the last time you had to get a new credit card because your old one was hacked? It's annoying and it is frustrating and it happens a lot.
Or maybe you had to change your password because your password was hacked. That happens to me actually more often than I wish it would. Well, there are interns in Texas learning how to hack so that criminals can't. Here's Jay Wallace.
Take a look at this safe.
Through these holes, they're large enough that a screwdriver, maybe a flathead screwdriver, could fit.
Most use it to keep others out. But these interns are breaking in.
Find all of the different vulnerabilities.
It's a part of their job.
You could even take a little silver sticker and put it over it.
They work for IBM's X-Force Red Team, a fancy name for ethical hackers.
We're going to see just how far we can take this.
Finding ways to break into not only safes, but cyber stuff like computer networks and websites.
How that differs from how they're supposed to work.
Companies hire IBM to hack into their buildings, networks, and products to fix their security issues.
Places where I could potentially find something to quote break or something to exploit.
Okay.
Charles Henderson leads the team.
We are the devil's advocate for security. People hire us to make things break.
Joining the group, it's not easy.
We know most of the people we bring in for a substantial amount of time before we bring them in.
And missing something,
and a criminal finds it, that's a very bad outcome.
It's not an option.
Our entire industry is built on trust as well as capability.
They help their client and everyone.
Let's fix this vulnerability and let's get the word out about it.
Which is why IBM publishes the issues it finds. Hannah Robbins did it during the first part of her internship last summer.
There's this feeling of realizing that you've made a company and a product more secure.
And more safe as well.
Go to the bleeding edge of an industry and get to experience that firsthand is a unique experience.
In Austin, Jay Wallace.
You would be able to verify.
I kind of like to learn. I don't know why I don't want to hack, but I feel so kind of useless sometimes on the computer. I'd like to learn some sneaky, underhanded stuff.
You're pretty good. You don't seem like you're not like, oh, what do I do here?
Well, no, because I pretend really well.
Right.
You're on the Instagram.
You want to know the only thing that dates you on your cell phone is that you speak to it for a text message. And I totally get that it's fast, but I would venture that nobody under 40 has ever spoken to their phone for a text message.
I can't see if I don't have my glasses.
Get out of here with that.
No, they're not fine, Keith.
You know what it shows is you have nothing to hide in your text messages, and
No, I don't.
That's what I don't get.
I'm having flashbacks of Goldberg
Goldberg
doing the same
too.
thing.
He's like, all you need to do is put it in the oven for 2 hours. You do not need, and he just walks back and forth. No, they don't get to take the dog out. Like, it's just, I can't imagine dictating my text. Like, did you see that shirtless picture of Gutner again on Instagram? I can't believe he's doing this. All right, anywho, all right, it was warm today. 83 in Portland, 82 in Lewiston. At the moment, dew points slowly going down. It's funny, this morning, even after the air mass changed in the cold front, it felt better, but it was still sticky, and it's just been a really slow progression. You can see through the mountains. Look at Greenville, 44 for a dew point. That's crisp. So it's coming this way. It's just taking a while in places like Rockland and Bar Harbor with dew points still in the 60s. But tonight you'll feel that change in the air mass, and the clouds are kind of flattening out as a result of that drier air as well. There's less instability to be had, and the clouds are showing it. So you kind of look around a little tour here in Standish with clear skies. 86 still there. Ellsworth at 82 and 83 in Portland with some high thin clouds still hanging around. So overnight tonight it is clear, it's drier, it's comfortable for the most part. Tomorrow we start off on the cool side, but we get so much sun in here that tomorrow afternoon's pretty mild. And as I mentioned, the models have been just a little bit off, a couple degrees off in the afternoon. And so I think we're looking at some upper 80s away from the coastline tomorrow later in the day. It's a dry heat, but it's warm. And then Saturday looks warm as well. And we'll call that mostly sunny to start. An isolated thunderstorm possible in the afternoon, but you can see most of us stay dry. I think a few inland communities will hit 90 on Saturday afternoon. Front comes through Saturday night with a shower or thunderstorm, and then Sunday is partly cloudy, cooler, but cool is still right around 80 degrees. So overall high pressure in place through the weekend. There's that little front kind of nudging in Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. That moves through, and then we get into the warm sector on Monday afternoon, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Some questions on how warm will be there, but I think upper 80s are a good bet, and we could get a few low 90s out of that stretch as well. So nice stretch of weather. It will get a little bit more unstable with that warmer air mass on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They all have a chance of thunderstorms. None of those days are bad days. It's going to be a little bit more convective out there, like what we saw yesterday. So again, we could see some 90s away from the coastline in there. We'll fine-tune that as we get closer. But overall,
sounds good.
It looks like we might have a cool down in the middle of the month and then back to warmth after that.
But is it a cool down?
Yeah,
meaning it's not really that cool.
Maybe we might catch a few days with highs in the upper 70s.
Okay.
Which is still pretty nice.
Yeah,
super nice.
It's really nice.
All right, you want to pay attention to this, okay? Because Amazon is going to make it easier for Keith to buy mediums online.
They sure are. Launching a personal shopper by Prime Wardrobe. So here's how this will all work. A team of stylists will select items based on a customer survey about your style preferences and how much you're willing to spend. That's probably key here. Each month, the service will send Prime members a curated clothing box with up to 8 items. You can preview the selected items before the box is even shipped out. There's a 7-day try-on period, and you only pay for what you keep. The service costs $5 a month and is launching first with women's fashions, but men, never fear, their personal shoppers are launching soon. Good news, 2 thumbs up. Apparently, Maine does not have the flashiest police cruisers.
No, at least according to a new study by the American Association of State Troopers, okay? Of 42 participating states, Maine came in dead last for best-looking cruiser in a contest. Nebraska's cruisers took home first place, almost 70,000 votes. Michigan was number 2. New Hampshire was number 3. Maine State Police cruisers pulled into last place with only 181 votes. Mainers don't seem too fazed by these results, though Bonnie says it's not what you see on the outside. We all know it's what's on the inside that counts. True, true. And John adds, is it functional and is it safe? It's not a beauty contest. Except in this particular instance, it was.
Exactly.
And they lost.
Bummer. Next time. Okay, are you a ketchup on your hot dog person or a mustard on your hot dog person? This is a debate that's been going on, I feel like, for far too long.
I'm a mustard on my hot dog person.
Yeah.
The hot dog. Anyway, if you're like me, you might be interested in this new product. I said might. In honor of National Mustard Day, which is Saturday, French's is introducing mustard-flavored ice cream. It's a limited run starting in select locations just in New York City and Los Angeles. So if you happen to travel to one of those two cities, give it a try and let us know how it is so we don't have to try it ourselves.
Yeah, I'm all set with trying that. Hard pass.
No, it sounds awful. All right, let's see what Cindy's got coming up in the next half hour. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Coming up, police in Ware, New Hampshire were responding to a domestic violence call when they were hit with a barrage of gunfire. One of the officers went down, and then today they found the gunman who had holed up inside dead. We're going to have much more on what happened there. If you see roadkill on the side of the road, the Audubon Society would like to hear from you. It's not like anybody's in trouble or anything, but this info is going to help them identify high kill areas and hopefully do something about it. And the UMaine Black Bear football team is already hitting it hard, trying to build off last year's historic season. We are headed to Orono. Coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
Ooh, football is back.
I know, right? Very exciting time for so many athletes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back with Raindrops after this.
Okay, great pictures we got a couple of days ago, and somebody asked me, a viewer asked me, is this a tornado?
Oh.
Okay, or a funnel cloud? Interesting question.
Yeah.
The answer is no. It is what we call a scud cloud. So scud cloud is part of a thunderstorm usually. It's where the area of updraft, warm, moist air is going up into a thunderstorm, but it is very often confused for a funnel cloud because of what it could look like. But it's rotation and it looks a little bit different. You'd see a funnel cloud be more discrete. So we're going to play a game that you didn't know we're playing. Okay. And you have to answer funnel cloud or scud cloud.
Okay, I like this.
Okay, this is your first one.
Scud.
That is correct. All right. Yes.
We've upgraded
All right,
the horns.
let's go on to the next one. Funnel cloud.
Funnel cloud.
Funnel cloud, that is correct.
Yes.
All right.
I lived in the Midwest.
Okay.
I got this.
This is a good one. Scud cloud, funnel cloud.
Can I have a third option here? Can I say tornado?
You can make up a third option. That is incorrect. This is actually a really vivid scud cloud in which you can literally see some of the moisture as it goes up into a thunderstorm. This happens all the time in Maine, though. And the main way
it's making connection with land.
Right, it is, but up this way.
Yeah.
Is just to watch it. If you see it in person, a funnel cloud, you will make no mistake. It will be rotating. It will be rotating quickly, and it's usually more finite. Scud clouds, you'll see what looks like several funnels, which does not happen very often at all. But good job, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And that's like bringing back.
You got to use the air horn. That's all I really cared about.
Living in Tornado Alley.
Yeah, that's true. That probably helped you a little bit.
News Center Man at 5:30 starts right now.